Hey, I'm Patrice, and I eat a lot. Because food is good, food is culture, and most importantly, food makes me fit and thick. I have my high protein go tos, but eating the same thing can get boring quick. So I'm learning new, exciting ways to make my one ingredient go tos that give me the biggest gains. I'm new here at About to Eat, obviously, so let's get acquainted. I started my strong and thick journey about a year ago. Don't get it twisted though, I'm a real foodie. And I'm a Caribbean girl, Jamaica stand up. And I'm also a journalist who loves all things pop culture and traveling. I eat for my wellness, but I also want my food to be tasty and exciting. Absolutely none of that unseasoned grilled chicken in my house, okay? Today's one ingredient? Eggs. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I typically eat 3 to 4 boiled eggs a day, which is really 21 to 28 eggs in a week. And I eat that many eggs because I'm trying to hit my protein macros to build muscle, and I'm also eating at a caloric surplus, again, to build muscle. Before we get started, I do want to note the rising food costs in America. Eggs ain't cheap. So to save money, I actually buy a 1-pack of 2 dozen pasture-raised organic eggs from Costco. That 1 pack comes to about $8. Instead of going to another supermarket where 2 dozen organic eggs can run me well over $20. So that's a tip for my fellow bulkers out there, or anyone really who's just trying to save money on groceries. Try wholesale for the things that you find yourself buying often on a week-to-week basis. Okay, let's cook. I made 3 egg recipes, and I'm giving you my honest thoughts on all of them. First up, Mayak eggs. I'm excited because I see these eggs a lot on social media, and I would always bookmark the video and say, okay, I'm gonna make that. Well, that day has come. Also, did y'all know that Mayak means drug in Korean? Basically, that's how addictive these eggs are. First, I cooked a batch of eggs in my trusty egg cooker. While the eggs cooked, I chopped up some green onions, red jalapeno, green chili, and garlic into small pieces. Next, I prepared the sauce with water, soy sauce, and maple syrup. Once the vegetables were ready, I mixed them directly into the sauce until everything was evenly combined. After the eggs finished cooking, I peeled all 7 of them carefully. Then I transferred the sauce mixture into a glass Tupperware container and submerged the peeled eggs. I let the container sit overnight in the fridge so that the eggs could absorb the flavors. The next day, I served the eggs and sauce over a bed of brown rice. Now I decided to make these yolks a bit more on the medium sides, and that's because I typically eat my breakfast during my commute on the train to work and from the gym, and so I didn't want to worry about having a messy meal. Let me just tell y'all, these eggs live up to the hype. They're like this savory, flavorful level up from my plain straight boiled eggs that I was eating. Like, I can't even believe that I was eating plain boiled eggs. This dish had all of my favorite flavor profiles in one bite. Salty, savory, spicy, vinegary. Just like I've seen on social media, I decided to have my Mayak eggs over a small bed of rice. And I love the fact that I could put the scallions and chili peppers and that little like soy sauce mixture to add some gravy and flavor. It was perfect. The only downside was that I had not made it sooner. Next up, a Tamago Sando, or Japanese egg sandwich. First, I cooked another 7 eggs in the egg cooker, aiming for a soft boiled yolk. Once they were done, I peeled 3 of them and placed them into a bowl. Then I cut into them right away. That's when I realized they were way too soft and runny for a Tamago sandwich. Y'all, as you can see, the eggs were a bit too runny. But in this kitchen, we are not all or nothing thinkers. If something doesn't go the way we plan, we're gonna pivot, we're gonna be resilient. So I said, you know what? We have a tasty concoction. It just doesn't have the firmness that is required for the sandwich. Anyway, I decided to keep calm and carry on because the eggs were still edible. While the eggs were still in the bowl, I added the rest of the ingredients. Coleman's British mustard as a substitute for Japanese mustard, Japanese mayonnaise, a little melted butter, about 15 grams. I also used one of my favorite kitchen tools ever, a pair of kitchen shears, to just chop up the egg whites to make them a bit smaller. Oh, and I swapped out the shokupan bread, which is a soft, white, chewy Japanese bread, for sourdough bread, just because it's easier to digest and there's better mineral absorption with sourdough. So I decided to lean into the final texture and decided to turn it into a dip, serving it with the toasted sourdough slices on the side. Will I make it again this way? I don't think so, but that's because I'm typically not making it a bunch of dips, and a sandwich would be so much easier while I'm on the go. Last but not least, I felt like I was really in my all-American 90s cooking show TV host bag when I made these egg muffins. I mean, can't you see Martha Stewart making something like this? I started by finely chopping mushrooms and shallots. Then sauteing them until they were softened and lightly brown. In a separate bowl, I hand whisked together 11 eggs. Then I added chopped spinach. Next, I mixed in an Italian cheese blend along with salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning. I poured the egg mixture into a greased muffin tin and immediately realized I'd forgotten to add the mushrooms and shallots. So I went back in and added the sauteed mushrooms and shallots to each muffin cup by hand, then top each one with a little extra cheese, just because you can never have too much cheese. Finally, I baked the egg muffins at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes until they were puffed up and set in the center. All right, taste test. This is so good. The eggs came out so moist, I was worried about overcooking them. The veggies are perfectly cooked. They're not dried out. They're adding tons of flavor to this. And of course, the cheese. The cheese adds that perfect salty, nutty flavor. The only thing I would do differently, I would put pieces of sausage or bacon in here. I'm definitely doing that next time. This is such a great way to have like an omelet on the go. This was surprisingly easy to make. Wow, that was a lot of eggs. My favorite dish was hands down the Mayak eggs. Again, it had all of my favorite flavors all in one dish. It was super easy to make. I was able to get my protein, my healthy fats in the yolk, and my carbs with the rice. If I were to do anything differently, it would be obviously making the eggs for the Tamago sandwich a bit firmer. But you know what? A win is a win, because at the end of the day, I have been freed from my unseasoned boiled egg bondage. So tell me in the comments which of these recipes you'd eat, or if there's another egg recipe you think I should try. So remember how I said this was going to be a series? Well, I had to sit down and have a real heart-to-heart with myself. As much as I love trying out new recipes and experimenting with new dishes, between my 3-hour round trip commute to work, the working out, the recovering, and squeezing all my other responsibilities in between all that, that doesn't leave a ton of time for cooking, at least not in the way that I would want to for that kind of series. And so pivot. Yeah, we're pivoting. I mean, obviously your girl is still gonna be eating because we need that to fuel our bodies, but also gang don't stop. So I figured, why not take you along with me and just give you like a day in the life of a commuter who's bulking. But spoiler alert, this is not for the weak. We are going to be eating, baby, okay? So subscribe to 8 and my YouTube channel, Speak Patrice, and stay tuned for my day in the life of a commuter who's bulking.